People who listen to this call may be recorded for quality assurance recordings. What's the funniest or craziest thing you've heard? Game support where you have a teenage males as a large base of your fans. No surprise to anyone who has done the work, but these kids have no problem whatsoever on the phone telling reps the various ways they are going to kill them, or F them up, mess up their family etc. For 100 contacts, there are a few of these. We did both mail and phone. I know some of the mail support companies have actually turned people into the police as players are dumb enough to write in from their accounts several times with specific death/bomb threats to the company if they don't change something about the game. I worked in a call center and my boss would review a call with me in each of my monthly 1:1s. He started the call, and it was one where I assessed the issue and realized it should go to a coworker. The recording captured me putting the customer on hold, then initiating the transfer to my coworker who I had already messaged with and knew the call was coming. So when my coworker picked up I said yeah all ready for this, Baydada, and sung probably 25 seconds of the Space Jam theme. My boss and I sat in silence in a small conference room listening to this together with him just staring at me the whole time. In the call center I work in the customer side of the conversation is recorded when on hold. This mostly leads to overhearing small talk, but every now and then an amusing back and forth ripping into the advisor for being useless. I do love when that happens. I used to work at a call center, and we had regular quality checks, where they would pull a random call, review it, and bring us in for a meeting to go over the results. One time, I had a really mean, awful lady on the phone. I had to put her on hold to look something up without screaming in my ears. I forgot to mute, so as soon as she went on hold you can hear me, clear as a bell, saying oh my god Jesus Christ what a ducking BTCH. Damn. Of course, that's the one they pulled. I almost died of embarrassment, but the quality person laughed and didn't fail me, since the customer couldn't hear it. We recently started using new software at my job at a self-storage facility that records calls. We also had some old marketing lines that we were trying to weed out because other companies had previously used them, and we were constantly getting wrong number calls for other companies in the area. My manager took a call one day and got all flustered, couldn't stop laughing. She played the call for us once she hung up, and a woman says, "Yeah, how much for that black ass?" My manager tried to stay professional and said, "Excuse me, can you repeat that?" And the woman just kept asking for the price of black ass. After a couple minutes of this, we figured out she was trying to reach the fish market down the street to ask the price of black bass, but was speaking very quickly with a sort of colloquial accent. We've had many more since then, but this one was my favorite. Back when I worked in a call center we would review calls with our supervisors every month. I talked to a guy who was clearly having sex while we were on the call and not at all trying to hide it. I aced the call, but I worked with business customers and he was with a partner help desk, working from home I think. We got to report to his management what happened and we listened to the call again with them and him. It was about the most awkward thing I've ever done. Once the call ended there was about 30 seconds of silence where you could taste the tension. Never talked to that guy again. Used to supervise a call center. There was the time a rep asked for the customer's order confirmation number and last four. Customer mentioned something about driving and not being able to reach her purse or something like that. Our rep asked, "Do you want to pull over or call us back later?" The customer hadn't even been on hold that long, 5 minutes. So, it wasn't like she'd been waiting forever and didn't want to miss her one chance. Anyway, as the customer was, we assume, reaching for her purse, you can hear a car horn honking, followed by the unmistakable sound of tires squealing and the crush of metal and glass. Then silence for a few seconds. The customer finally speaks again. I think I'm gonna have to call you back." I was a debt collector for 2 years for a retail credit card company and heard everything. Everything. All of our calls are recorded because there's so many laws and practices surrounding collections and anything to do with money or credit. When we put you on hold we can still hear you by the way. One time I heard a guy, while I put him on hold to transfer him to our fraud department, admit to someone in the room that there wasn't actually fraud, he had just charged his card up and didn't want to pay. Admitted it right there on a recorded line. Part of my job was listening to jail calls from inmates. They were always a little crazy slash desperate slash sad. But one guy, who had multiple baby mamas, would call each of them asking for money. He would tell them all the same thing: when I get out, it's just you and me. You know you're the one I love. I only have to deal with those other girls because of my kids. Each of those women would fall for it and send him money. Every time. I spent hours listening to his calls and just cringing. I'm a quality monitor for a bank. The best thing I've ever heard was during a collection attempt. One of our agents outside of the US, Philippines, was speaking with a customer, and this customer was either trolling or really found her voice attractive. He starts flirting with her, and this continues for an hour and a half. He's pulling out all the stops, asking for her Facebook, saying that this was the best conversation he's ever had, saying that it reminds him of a rom-com where two people on opposite sides of the world meet on the phone and then fall in love. I should have escalated that to her superior, but I just couldn't bring myself to. I hope she found love or something.